start this meeting.
So, Arbor Day, we're going to talk about. I will report that LEAF is prepared to do whatever we jointly decide. If you want to host something at LEAF, that's not a problem. Staff would be excited to do that. If you want to do something else, they'll support it in any way that we can. So that's it. Patty, you were going to try to talk to somebody at the school board. Did we lose Patty?
Yes, hi. I'm sorry. I'm here. I did email with Jeremy Blesser. I'm not sure if the correct pronunciation.
Blouser,
he said that they were willing and suggested, I sent this out in an email shortly ago, but we could plant a new tree or have plans to plant fruit trees in the community garden. And so they're willing. We would just have to work with them. And I didn't explore anything else with them as far as what would we do for inclement weather or how many people they would have from their community or volunteers or anything like that, because I wanted to see what this meeting produced. If we want to go with LEAF because we know what that is, that's A-okay with me. But I'm also willing to get back in touch with BEST and try and work out what we would want to do with them.
Well, that's good news.
All right, so then it comes down to what do we want to do?
Sorry, I'm obviously not having the easiest time hearing everything. Can you just tell me a little bit about what Patty said? I did see her email come through about her conversation. Did she just kind of summarize that information?
Yeah, she talked to Jeremy Blazer at BEST, and they're happy to participate, but she didn't get into any details as to where or what. It's a possibility of planting some trees in their little orchard there. They like the idea of planting some trees, but we don't know if they have a weather site, if the weather is inclement. So there's some more details to be resolved.
Okay. Great.
Did I miss anything, Patty?
Nope, that was a good summation. Thank you.
Okay.
Again, it would seem to me that probably LEAF is probably at this point the easier avenue. And since we're kind of backed up against the clock at this point, that may be the easier avenue, but BEST might be a good opportunity for us to start branching out. But we'd have to work out the details about an inclement weather plan and who would be there and actual obtaining the trees and that sort of thing. So
I know this is off the wall, but I've been thinking about this and wondering if we couldn't possibly coordinate to have other people plant trees at the same time. They're planting some of these seedlings, saplings that we're giving away through LEAF. And through the miracle of whatever, Facebook Live or whatever, have people say, hey, look, we're planting this tree, or we just planted this tree this morning, that kind of thing. And engage people at other sites around the community as well as at wherever we end up.
Well, that's a fun idea,
Yeah.
to encourage multiple plantings
Yeah,
happening all at the same time around or the same day.
right.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
And I hate to go too far, but maybe each of us could find somebody who is willing to plant a tree and work with them. And then we'd have at least a half a dozen events taking place during the course of whatever time we just establish. I know it's more complicated and whatever, but
So,
I like the idea of us kind of splitting up and doing smaller plantings around town. I my only concern, I guess, with a Facebook Live or, using the powers that may be with social media is that we have to have, like who's hosting that? That is like the city going to give up their Facebook or their social media platforms, or is this something we could do through Leaf with Leaf's help? It's better for those kind of social media campaign things to have, one source that has a larger audience, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's too late to organize a tree planting with Jeremy to plant a fruit tree in the orchard or a couple trees.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not at all.
we could just get a couple fruit trees, and that could be our main planting. So are we thinking of having this like on Friday, which is Arbor Day, and sponsoring events around for Friday, or is this more of a Saturday thing? Because I don't think we ever nailed down the Friday versus Saturday yet.
I thought we decided
I
on
was under the
Saturday
impression
at
that
last
we
week's.
were thinking
Yeah.
more of Saturday, but I'm open.
Okay, Steph started talking too. What were you saying,
Oh,
Steph?
sorry.
Oh, I just said I am pretty sure that Saturday was the one that was decided at last week's meeting.
Okay, Steph said what you said, Jamie. Saturday was the day.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So, I guess I would suggest, if we can pursue this and have individual planting events and somehow coordinate them through social media, that we have a on-site event at Leaf, because there is a weather, element. If it's raining or whatever, we can go indoors, and we begin planning in earnest based on those fundamental decisions. What's everybody think?
Yeah, we could even move around. Like if we wanted to be at Leaf at a scheduled time so that it's rain or shine, and then have like a tree planting over at Jeremy's orchard later, we still, as many of us could go as could if we wanted. And then, or, like you said, or we can just have partners be planting at the same time.
Yeah, I'm thinking, there are families that would plant a tree and, phone in and show off. I don't know how we coordinate all this. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not sure how to coordinate all that either.
Jamie makes the point that we would need somebody to be coordinating this social media effort, and I agree. But let's try to find someone.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe a conversation with Leaf too. Is Leaf willing to kind of help coordinate the social media aspect of it? I mean, obviously, last year I think what happened was I was creating the graphics and then we were giving them to Frank at the city, and then Frank was sort of posting them to the city's accounts. But I don't know what that's like now, Sarah, with the city, and I think you guys are looking for a new digital media strategist or something. So just kind of thinking through that, I guess, and how much Leaf would want to be involved in the social media aspect of it.
Yeah, you're correct. We still don't have a replacement for Frank yet, but they are working on it.
Okay.
But we do have a new director of communications, which is Chris Millett. And so I don't know if that's something that he could help with in the interim. I'd have to ask a couple questions and find out. But I think it's a cool idea. I still think it's a good idea.
Well, even if we couldn't do live Facebook, because I personally don't use Facebook, I'm old school, we can still take pictures and post them at some point or get them to someone. But I think the idea is, do we want to do sort of Arbor Day deconstructed so that maybe we have a little bit of a ceremony at Leaf, is what it's sounding like. And then if others of us want to identify other groups or families or neighborhoods that would want to plant trees, then we would try to coordinate that it would be on this Saturday, April 29th. Is that what I'm hearing, or did I miss everything totally?
No, you got it.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, we could even invite people to come by Leaf in the morning and pick up a tree and go home and plant it.
That's
But
perfect.
I wouldn't want to depend on that, on just a call like that. I would want to have people prearranged, they're going to plant a tree with us. And either send us pictures or jump on Facebook Live or whatever. So I guess as our conversation proceeds, it seems like the social media thing is a primary issue that we need to resolve. I'd be happy to talk to Chris about this and see if we can't get him to care about it.
Yeah, we need to talk to him about these meeting links anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Too bad Diane Esser wasn't in town. She'd be able to do all this. Or help with it, I should say.
So are we moving away a little bit from doing like a little festival like we did last year then? Is that what I'm kind of gathering, and we're focusing more on plantings that are maybe either scattered or tied to leaf tree giveaway?
I don't know. I think it might be appropriate to have a point in time where we're gathered in one place and have some kind of a program.
Okay.
It might not be as elaborate as last year, but
Okay.
what's everybody think?
Yeah, we could
go ahead,
scale it
Sarah.
down and just have a few like activities for kids or crafts for kids or something to do. And besides picking up trees and then planting a tree. But I don't, yeah, I don't know besides that, because unless we're trying to plan a big festival, you don't want to ask a lot of people to come for something small and then not really have very many people at all. So, I mean, but we could
Right.
easily, between like Leaf and just some of our committee members, I mean, we could have a few activities to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, I don't know if maybe since Armando's on the board, if just he would bring some wood things for people to look at, but not necessarily all the vendors that we had last year, you know,
Right?
some crafts.
Right.
And we, as I'm going to speak on from Master Gardener hat at this point, it may be that we could get a small table if we were allowed to have a few things and handouts about native trees, and we're still focusing on issues with spotted lanternfly, and now we're expanding to the jumping worm, so we could have some information about that. And we do have a couple of things for kids that we could do. I'd have to talk with them to make sure, but I think we could do that.
Yeah, I could make up like a tree scavenger hunt or something, since if it's at Frontier Park, because there's a lot of trees there. Maybe we can make some kind of a game like that too. Because I've done those before in like Washington Park and a couple other parks. And then, I don't know, we could ask Asbury Woods if they wanted to promote something at their location later in that same day too. They'd make a good partner as another multiple site besides Best. We could ask Asbury Woods. Because Arbor Day is only the week after Earth Day, so we can still be promoting just get outside and do activities like that too. Because you can always go for a hike at Asbury Woods and other things.
So I'm going to make a proposal because it's 12:40. What if we try to set up another call next Wednesday, if that works for people, and let's see where we are. If John can work with Leaf and sort out what they might want to do in a timeline, I will talk with Master Gardeners and with Best and see what we can do about a table from Master Gardeners at Leith if we're going to have like a small ceremony or event there, and then talk with Leaf about, not Leaf, sorry, Best about me and a couple of Master Gardeners and some of their volunteers planting trees there later in the day.
Yeah, I can set up a Arbor Day committee Zoom meeting if we want, using my own personal link
Okay.
through the city, and then we can report back at next month's meeting with all the updates of what we've come up with.
Okay, that sounds good.
I mean, our next, Urban Forest Committee meeting.
Yeah, I'm just
Sorry,
thinking
did
that way
Patty
we can
suggest
work
having a
out some of the
committee
details.
meeting again, with just some of us before our next city meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
next
Yeah, I was-
next Wednesday. Would that work for you, Jamie?
Next Wednesday? Let me just double check.
I'm sorry, I forgot you can't hear the other people when they talk. Very good.
Sorry. Yeah, Wednesday the 1st at noon?
Yes.
Sure.
Does that work for you, Steph and Jenny?
Yeah.
At this point, yes.
So, in the meantime, be thinking. I'm guessing that there are a bunch of young moms who would be happy to plant a tree with their kids on Arbor Day and be a part of it, be a formal part of it. So think about who your friends are and who might want to get involved and plant a tree at their own house or at a place that we designate. And let's get other people involved in it. I got a couple people in mind, so.
Yeah, and also the Erie County Conservation District is having its tree seedling sale, and they have a bunch of fruit trees that are only $20 a piece, and the pickup date is the 28th. So if we have this the 29th, Jeremy might even be able to order some of his own fruit trees since they're so cheap that we could help him plant that very next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
If not, I have funds in my tree planting account as well to try to plant a few trees, but my trees have to be planted on public property. So I don't know if his orchard would count. The right-of-way counts, but I don't know if the orchard itself counts. But if the fruit trees are only $20 a piece through the fruit sale, that's a really good price for fruit trees. And they're still like 4 to 6 foot tall, so it's a good.
Yeah. They're just, I've planted a lot of.
Yeah, so that's a nice option. So I can talk with him about that too.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I just received Relief's email for trees to plant at home as well. So I don't know if there's a way for us to tie in with Relief's tree giveaway.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're talking that they would, be involved in Arbor Day, but I mean, prior to that, even with this, requesting free trees. Anyway.
That's the strategy we're pursuing right now, is getting as many people as possible to agree to plant trees.
What do you think, Jenny? I know you still wanted to try to have a bunch of school kids, but you're waiting to hear back from the folks you spoke with, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from the Erie School District, so I doubt that they'll be able to participate this year, but you never know. We'll see. If I hear anything, I'll let you guys know.
Thanks, Jenny. Steph, did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
No, I'm just going to add in a few things to the minutes because it's kind of hard to hear. It's hard for me to hear what you and John and Jamie are saying. It's hard for her to hear what Patty and Jenny are saying. So we're trying to get as much into the minutes as we can. But yeah, I was going to say if we do the multiple plantings, maybe it makes sense for even some of us from the committee to go to different locations like if we all met at the central spot, give away trees, do like a demo planting for people who want to see how to plant a tree, and then, I mean, we could help to facilitate the multiple plantings by one of us going to Best, one of us going to, the Bayfront, a park, helping a family who wants to plant a tree in the street, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, so we have a date, we have a broad outline, we have some things we're going to pursue. Somebody want to talk to Asbury Woods? Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, or I can, that's fine.
And so Patty's in touch with Best. And also with the Master Gardeners. Is anybody else willing to talk to somebody specifically?
I have the flyer digitally from the Erie County Conservation District, so I'll send that to everybody in the committee so they have it to share, but then I'll also send it to Jeremy and tell him our thoughts about some of this. In addition to you, Patty, I mean, you can still talk to him, but I'll share that flyer, see if he maybe has any funding to purchase a couple fruit trees on their own, with their own funding.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Sure.
Okay, and just so I understand this correctly, so if we talk to somebody, like a business or something or organization, do they need to supply their own tree?
What? I couldn't understand your question.
So if a business or an organization wants to do a tree planting that day, do they need to supply their own tree?
No, not necessarily. We have lots of small trees, as long as they're willing to plant saplings, smallish trees, we can provide trees.
Jeremy just specifically wanted more fruit trees in the fruit orchard that he has. And they're just a good price from the Conservation District sale, that's all. Because we can still encourage people to buy their own trees too, but yes, Leaf has trees that we can also give away for people to plant.
Okay.
So there's both options.
It just occurred to me that we might try to involve Mercyhurst in this too, and kind of draw attention to the
Tiny forest.
Tiny forest, yeah.
And I think Anna from our West Bayfront might also have trees to plant, but I don't know if
Yeah.
they have anything to plant on for Arbor Day specifically.
Yeah, I don't know what the timing is of the Bear Root Tree Grant.
I can talk to her. I'm supposed to meet with her on Friday.
Okay. All right. So I'll see if Mercyhurst is willing to be involved and what their ideas are. Anything else anybody needs to do or wants to do or wants us to do?
I can help, however, if anyone needs me to talk to somebody, just let me know.
On a different subject, I have an update on the DCNR grant, the Community Watershed and Forestry grant that we received for $335,000. I did have a first meeting with the folks from DCNR, and so we're revising the budget because the amount requested was cut, and so, but I think for the most part it will be reducing the tree inventory, but I'm going to meet with all the partners just to go over with their amount of the budget that was requested for them and how much they can still have, and then we're going to have a follow-up meeting with DCNR to finalize everything and then sign the contract. And even though anything is eligible starting January 1st of 2023, they're still advising that nobody really does anything yet till the contract's signed for sure, to make sure that that will be covered as part of the scope of the project. So if partners did start doing stuff now, it may or may not count at this point. So we need to get that contract signed as soon as we can to start working on that project. But I thought that was good news.
And the amount that they actually awarded was how much?
335,000. So that's huge. It's like
That's a lot of trees.
It is a lot of trees.
I love it.
It's very exciting. And we have in it to plant, I think, 2 more tiny forests and 3 alternative lawns and a bunch of tree plantings, some tree workshops, and an inventory. But I was going to cut it down to just a section of the city based on the amount of funding that was reduced. So we can at least start the inventory, but it won't be the whole big citywide inventory. Because that was like 200 and some thousand all on its own.
Yeah.
So it would be like a quarter of that amount.
Okay. That's great.
That's
Any-
awesome, Sarah. When do we need to begin doing something? I heard you say that we aren't supposed to do anything until the contract is signed, but what is our next step?
I have to meet with all the partners. I don't really remember what, I don't think the Urban Forest Committee specifically asked for any funding, but we had agreed to help out with like tree workshops or some of the planting events, like just different things throughout the grant project. And it is, I believe it's a 3-year grant, but somewhere I had written down it's a 4-year grant, so I'll have to double check on that. So we have plenty of time to do all this work and spend the money. So I'll let you know. The main thing I'm trying to do right now is finalize the budget with the reduced amount. And DCNR is in total of support, however it works out the best. So that'll be good. And then we can have, then at that point we can probably have one big meeting with all the partners together and discuss the project in more detail. And then that could involve, you know, you folks on the Urban Forest Committee. But I think it'll be fun. It's a fun project. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that we have that much money to spend on trees.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think the COG, when we partnered with the Erie Area Council of Governments with Jessica and Pennsylvania Sea Grant, the largest grant we had was $100,000. So this is really a significant amount of funding. It's really exciting.
All right, that's wonderful. Anything else? Otherwise, this group at least will meet next Wednesday. Maybe, Sarah, you'd let everybody know that we're going to have that meeting, and if they want to join us, they can.
Yeah, for organizing Arbor Day, the
Yes.
Arbor Day event.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll do that.
A committee meeting, yeah. All right, everybody's quiet. Are we about done? Thanks for bearing with these conditions. I'm making my goal to try to, let's solve this. Let's have meetings that we can actually function.
Yeah, sorry about the Zoom thing. I wish it wasn't like this right now. I'm being quiet because I don't want to give feedback to anybody or talk over anyone because I can't really hear.
Yeah,
You're doing a good job, Jamie.
yeah, all good.
Well, I'll see everybody next week then
All right,
on Zoom.
Yep.
all right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.